Balboa Tech Foundry is committed to advancing technological innovation and information parity in emerging markets. Today, we're in Nairobi, Kenya. We are diving into a crucial discussion about the technological landscape for small businesses. Specifically, we're focusing on internet, communications, and web applications. Nairobi is a vibrant hub of entrepreneurial activity, and we want to ensure that businesses here have the right tools to thrive in this digital age. That's why we're talking to actual small business owners who are at the forefront of innovation and growth. These incredibly valuable insights help us to understand the opportunities and challenges for local businesses, global partners, and potential investors.
Hi, I'm Jay Magoni with Balboa Tech Foundry. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our audience for taking the time to join us here today at Foundry Tech Talk in Nairobi, Kenya. Today, we're here with Mwenezi Musalia and Khadija Kassim, who are going to share their business experiences and insights that can empower businesses in Nairobi's dynamic tech landscape. You know, we've known each other for a while now, and so this is I feel like it's a great opportunity for us to really showcase your guys' business acumen and what you've learned in the last few years. I've been coming here for a number of years now, and I feel like the tech landscape has changed quite a bit. So without further ado, let's start with an introduction of your business and kind of what you've been up to.
Sure. So my name is Mwenezi Musalia, and I am a performance and image consultant, and my company is called the Etiquette and Protocol Institute of East Africa. So anytime someone asks me what I do, I am a facilitator and trainer on soft skills working under EPIA, the Etiquette and Protocol Institute of East Africa. We are a group of people who are focused on the soft skills, or what we like to call core competencies, and we work with organizations, with groups, with individuals, both public and private, to enhance and elevate matters to do with communication, matters to do with confidence, customer service, any type of staff that is frontline, and any other HR or human resource development needs that companies and organizations might need. We contribute to their development.
Oh, that's amazing. Khadija, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Khadija Kassim. I am K&J Web and Tech Solutions, and I'm a startup actually, and I'm really impressed today to be here with the Balboa Tech Foundry and Mr. Jay Mwenezi, who's a public figure.
Am I really a public figure?
You are kind of.
Kind of, okay.
Kind of,
Yeah.
As a web tech company, startup, I'm really looking to help small businesses develop, optimize their websites, and also help them with their web presence and present them with tools that is going to help them grow their businesses from where they are right now.
Oh, that's awesome. So, you know, obviously, since the focus here is on tech, to begin with, where do you see your primary, and this is a question for both of you, and we'll start with you, Mwenezi.
Sure.
Where do you see your primary markets now, and where do you hope to be in 2 or 3 years?
Right now, my primary markets are mostly within Kenya, focusing on the major towns: Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret, Thika, those type of places. But I do have quite a bit of business as well in some of the regional countries as well, like Tanzania, Uganda, South Africa. We've got some business there, and also in the Middle East, where I've had the opportunity to train a couple of organizations and individuals. It's a bit of a split, where I have about 30% is individual coaching and facilitation, and 70% is groups and organizations. And within the 70% of the groups and organizations, I'd say maybe 80% of that segment is B2B, where I go directly to business and corporates and get them to I'll either write them a proposal, or they will see something that we've done on social media and want to engage with the business. And then the 20% of that is really where we go sort of soliciting for the business, and we'll try and do some business development activities to try and see if they would be interested in seeing what we have. So, for example, we might show up at a hotel and say we're offering some services to enhance your hospitality teams, better have that one-on-one soft skills and active listening.
So like with the hotel staffs?
Yes. Oh. Yes, so hotel staff are just one example, but we try as much as possible to engage them either in person or online, and I think that's where the tech would really come in handy in terms of shortening the process of being able to get in touch with some of our business.
So what's the future look like 2-3 years? Where would you like to be?
Hopefully to be the go-to soft skills facilitator for Africa, and be the reference point for performance and image and personal branding for the continent. And I think Kenya is an amazing place.
That's large goals. Great.
Yeah, we have to do that. We have to aspire big, and we've looked around, and it's a very niche segment, and many people don't really focus on soft skills. And with my background, and together with a lot of my other facilitators' background, for example, I did a lot of my training at the Protocol School of Washington in the US. Oh. I've done some training here. I've done some training in Europe, and so and South Africa, and so I want to now be able to showcase a global perspective in terms of what the global standard for soft skills actually is.
Well, I think there's definitely a market out there for you.
Absolutely.
So, Khadija, what are your primary markets, and where do you see yourself in 2 or 3 years?
So I would start with the local market, because especially where I live, I see a lot of gaps. People only depend on walk-ins, and that's the only business they get. And they have websites, but if you look at those websites, they're just, how do we explain? They're there.
Like a splash page
like
or
a
something.
Splash page. So a lot of people go on Facebook, then just look at the page, and that's it. So I'm really looking to help small businesses to really optimize their websites. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great goal. And where do you see yourself in the future?
I see myself covering, like he said, Kenya. That would be my first home. Is my first place to start. And maybe in the next 2-3 years, I'll expand maybe to East Africa. Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. So this is a question for both of you, and we can kind of just talk. What could you tell us about like the current technology and tools and systems that you're currently employing, if any?
Sure. We did try initially. We started EPIA in 2016, and we were using primarily a website, a very basic website, and some of our social media, as Khadija said, very, very basic Facebook page, LinkedIn page, that kind of thing. And then we slowly moved to promoting ourselves on YouTube, and I had a channel actually called Get Yours with Mwenezi, where I would share certain tips to give a little bit of a teaser on what you can expect if you were to come to EPIA, so that to kind of whet the appetite. And so we were using that primarily as marketing. But what we realized was, when it comes to scheduling trainings, the calendar and scheduling of trainings with different companies and different organizations, when it came to providing reports and on each training that has been done by a client, when it came to taking the content. So sometimes during trainings you want to record the session and then maybe give that to the client as part of a report, whether it's audiovisual or it's written, what we call rapporteuring. So rapporteuring a training session means you take down the key things that were discussed in that training and you put that...
And what tools would you use?
So just like, we'd use like cameras, and sometimes you'd have someone in the room just kind of like taking manual notes and then data transferring those onto like a Word document, and then I would then summarize it and send it off to the client. So some of these things, it would be great to optimize them with tech, especially the scheduling. If we have, let's say, for example, a website that is interactive, where clients can kind of like go, it's like a self-help where, the way you'd book a hotel or you book an airline,
Right.
you can book a training based on the availability of dates. All the pricing is there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Make it really seamless so that you don't have to do a lot of back and forth. I've spent just this morning engaging a client who wants a 2-day training, and I have to do a lot of back and forth. And
You're doing it all manually.
I'm doing it all
by pen,
manually.
yeah.
It would be great if
They could just go to your website and click that day.
click, yeah.
Right.
Give that day, and then they select from maybe a drop-down menu, what training do you want to do? Is it dining? Is it customer service? Is it communication? Is it personal branding? Is it leadership? And then you just select. Is it a half day? Is it a 1 hour? Is it a week? And that way you kind of, add to cart and you check out and make it very, very easy for clients to do that. So that's something that I would love to have because right now the process is very manual.
And Khadija, I know you previously were a partner in another company where y'all used certain tech tools, and I think you've brought some of those over. You were telling me to your new business. So, what are some of those that you're using now?
So now we're using interactive tools that are helpful so that when a customer goes online, even when you're not there then, those tools are able to help them immediately, and then we can follow up and give them a response like in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other, for either one of you, any other tools that you're currently using that you think would be of interest to maybe other businesses here?
I mean, yeah, for me, I'm always keen to grow my market base, and because Africa is such an ambitious proposition, we are thinking if we can have like really targeted SEO, search engine optimization across the continent, and to make sure that our services are available at the client's point of need, that would be great. And then integrate that with social media as well, where your website and the elements of the website can then be duplicated on Instagram, on TikTok even. And one other thing, Jay, that I would love to have is where sometimes we have content which is fairly generic. And this content, for example, some of my personal branding and influence and social capital modules, they're kind of like the same thing and repetitive. And it would be great to have a situation where we could eventually monetize and have a subscription-based type of arrangement where we can pre-record certain trainings and then have those purchased at a nominal fee online at a subscription. So you give someone like access, like Masterclass.
Sure.
So Masterclass would have,
Mwenezi's Masterclass.
Mwenezi's Masterclass, exactly. And you pay a fee, and then you have access to, let's say, 3 or 4 modules which are off the shelf, and those are only available online. You cannot download them. You only access them once you've paid your subscription.
So that kind of gets into these challenges and limitations maybe that we've encountered here.
Absolutely.
So how about you, Khadija? What challenges or limitations have you encountered?
The main limitation and challenge that I've experienced is limited expertise, especially there's a lot of advancements in technology, right? And every time like you think you have beat this technological advancement, there's another one. And the milestones of reaching those technological advancement, it's really costly. So for a local business person, it's really hard for them to keep up. That's what
That makes sense. Have you seen that?
I have, and right now we're in an age where artificial intelligence and machine learning is starting to take over, and especially in knowledge transfer industry like ours, where you're teaching people. Now we've got things like ChatGPT where you can sort of get knowledge from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the challenge for us is to remain relevant in this changing world. How do I then take advantage of AI and machine learning as an example? One way that I think we would be able to leverage on the current situation is to contribute to the AI landscape, so that if you are, let's say, running a meeting as an executive, just
Right.
this is just one example. If you are running a meeting as an executive, to provide you with quick fire tools like a cheat sheet. So I know I have a module on conducting effective meetings, for example. So as a senior executive, if you want to have a cheat sheet on how to conduct effective meetings, so the Appear AI would be available to you on your calendar, and just like 5 minutes before your meeting, you get either a quick audio or a quick visual or a quick like bullet point notes to tell you, okay, your meeting is about to start. Based on
here's the topics.
Here's the topics. This is how you're going to run it, and that kind of thing. And you pay an amount for that. So that would be obviously the next.
I think that would be really valuable for busy business executives.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. If you're going to do public speaking or presentation, you get a similar AI prompter, which would then give you that. When you get to the stage, look at the crowd. Don't forget to smile. Those kind of pointers that, so you have like someone in your ear from an AI perspective. That would obviously be the next level.
That would definitely. So these challenges or limitations that you've kind of encountered, how have they impacted the efficiency or productivity of your business?
So when you have low expertise, it limits you on the level of client base that you can reach, and that's a problem.
Yeah, for me, I mean, at the moment, because I'm purely leveraging on the brand that we've built over the last 6 or 7 years. If we did have, the SEO, the interactive website where people could sort of self-help and do it themselves, I think we would increase our turnover significantly by at least 40-50%.
So basically, these limitations have cut into your bottom line.
Absolutely, they have, and of course. Right now, especially post-training, the reporting and the admin that goes into churning out a report, this is how the training went. If there were tools that would be able to help us capture critical information at the point of training and then summarize that into a nice, decent report with the correct template and the correct, because we have different templates for different things, and if we could standardize that, it would make our lives much easier. And you can then knock these out. You
Absolutely.
have pre-training questionnaires that you send to the client just to gauge.
Certainly, for your industry, that would be perfect.
Absolutely.
And I guess we've already touched on budgetary considerations. Those are always an issue for any small business. With regards to the Nairobi market, how important are these financial considerations when we're either trying to support a business with technology or otherwise?
I mean, life right now is expensive the world over, and we must take cognizance of the fact that Nairobi has not been spared the global downturn. But even with that, I think if people see value and they can see that there's something that is actually adding value to their business, they will spend money on it. I tried to spend money on it, like I said, in 2018 and 2019 to try and enhance the business. But right now, to think about doing that, I'm not sure whether the expertise would give me value for money. So that's where the question always comes. Am I going to get value for money if I do actually go into my pocket and spend my dollars to optimize my online presence?
With regards to some of these latest advancements, how do you keep abreast of what the advances are? And if
Yes, the number one is to keep up with the latest technologies like AI, like it's really advanced. Ensuring that we integrate networks like 5G to speed up, our internet connectivity. And the other one, I think we should integrate like artificial intelligence, which runs everything. It helps with decision making.
how do you keep yourself educated?
How do I always attend like partnership meetings with other ad tech, web and tech solution companies. I attend online business meetups, and that's where you meet your potential clients. I teach myself through conferences and podcasts. That's how I'm able to reach my target audience.
And how about you, Mwenezi? Is there any particular ones here in Nairobi that are influential?
Yeah, so you can be part of a group of, there's some of these like tech hubs. So you've got iHub, we've got Nairobi Garage, and a couple of...
Oh, really? What is Nairobi Garage?
So Nairobi Garage is a combination of shared office spaces, but they also focus specifically on the tech and startup industry. Most people who are in tech and startups do not want to have the overhead of having an office, having a reception, and that kind of thing.
Okay, so it's a shared workspace.
It's a shared workspace focusing on supporting the tech environment.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so there are quite a few of these. And being part of those is one thing, but I think for me, it's become kind of like a force of habit. You can use social media and the internet for different things to be informed. Like right now, Twitter is where most people get their news, right?
Okay, right.
So I'll give myself about an hour where I'm not going online for entertainment. I'm going online just to browse and scan certain advances in technology, just to keep myself informed. Obviously, for my own business, to be able to understand, what are the latest trends in let's say people skills, customer service.
Sure, that's related directly to your business. But let's say with regards to technology, have you learned anything out there recently that you said, man, that would be kind of a must-have for my business?
Oh, just using the masterclass reference as an example, the ability to have my trainings in a format that you could pay like a license fee and then access them on a pay-per-view basis. That's something that for me would be I've picked up recently, and just the way to do it and how to structure it in a way that people are not downloading and pirating the content, but they're actually accessing a portal, getting the information, and for as long as they have access to it, like Netflix, like a subscription, that for me is something that I've picked up recently that I'd really like to explore.
And Khadija, you mentioned AI, 5G, and chatbots as kind of a game changer for your business.
It's a really interactive tool for my business, and as I said earlier, I don't need to be there to be physically helping a customer. It really helps a customer, even me being there, and making the website more responsive.
Are there any concerns or reservations that we have as these new things come out?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most critical concern is obviously cybersecurity. Making sure that you have enough safety online. Identity theft is something that is happening quite a bit and can have far-reaching implication. If you have a system where, let's say we have a checkout system where someone can actually purchase a training online and book and schedule the training themselves without the interface of another human being, if they're going to upload vital information like credit card information or PayPal or whatever payment system, and they're going to put in their other critical details like their identity or their passport or stuff like that, how safe and secure.
It's got to be encrypted. You don't want somebody hacking into your system,
absolutely,
stealing your customers' data.
Absolutely, customer data is it's sacrosanct, and so we want to obviously make sure that the security and the online, both the integrity of the network and the integrity of the website, the integrity of the system front to back, end to end, is really secure.
I guess that goes into privacy concerns as well, right? If you have potential clients that have privacy concerns that don't trust your site, then definitely it's going to limit the number of clients you're going to get. But if they know it's a trusted site and that you've got all the technology in place to safeguard their information, obviously this would more likely increase the amount of people that are going to your site.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we come from an era where we just click next, accept cookies, click, terms and we get a checkbox with terms and conditions, and you cannot progress to the next tab unless you agree to this. And so we click, but we don't read the fine print, and it only becomes an issue once there's a data breach or there's a security breach or something like that. And so for me, security is really, really important.
And I don't know, was it you, Khadija, you mentioned these rapid changes in technology.
Yeah, so we know every day like technology changes, and that comes along with costs, like to upgrade to these changes. And with growing businesses, it's not easy for them to just change that easy because it includes money. My other concern too would be ethical dilemmas, something that you really think is right to maybe the local community or a client. That could be something different, something like...
Yeah, I understand. So ethical concerns, something like it's not illegal because usually the law trails behind technology, right?
Yeah, innovation creates everything, and then everyone has to kind of keep up with it. Yeah, we have right now a situation where especially a few social media sites are under review by the government, for example, because
Here the government in Kenya?
The current government in Kenya, because of the morality and the cultural and societal norms, and certain people want their children to be protected from certain types of content, and so it's a question of are you in line with what the society and the cultural norms are doing, or
so just because you have the technology to do it, maybe you shouldn't do it. But but then it gets into all these discussions about right, wrong, laws.
Sorry, in terms of security also, there's something called phishing. Like personally, when I go through websites, there's always these tiny boxes, and I have been watching like on TikTok, there's this guy that are trying to catch these fraudulent people. They have tools and skills to scam people. So with us, like as big tech people, we really need to emphasize on security and the safety of our clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so we were just talking about the government clamping down on certain sites. That gets us into kind of this, these regulatory and compliance issues. Are there any that you need to consider when adopting any kind of new technology?
Yeah, I think besides from a content morality perspective, I think the other thing that one needs to be very aware of is anything to do with money movement. When it comes to money movement, we're in an environment now where not just from a tax and regulatory perspective. In the U.S., the IRS is very active, making sure that
people make sure they get your tax.
They make sure that they get. We have a similar situation here with KRA that has now passed a raft of laws that where even
who's KRA?
The Kenya Revenue Authority.
Yeah.
So they do right now. The changes are such that they're casting the net far and wide. So if you're a content creator and you're getting paid online to monetize your views for advertising revenue, there's a tax on that. So there's big taxes on.
So you're not just getting paid under the table.
Absolutely. So the minute you seem to be making money online, there's that consideration. But also in terms of money movement, we've got very stringent AML, anti-money laundering regulations, where we've seen a couple of big tech companies. I think the most famous one is called Flutterwave, and they facilitate payments across borders, and we have quite a few of the others like World Remit and so on. But they were actually brought to task by the government because the movement of money through their platforms, was maybe seen as maybe a proceed of crime or stuff like that. Of course, the legal systems and procedures have to run their course, but these are some of the things that now, especially as online and tech startups, the minute you have any kind of fintech, you must be regulated by the central bank. If you're going to take people's money, you're going to take deposits. If you are going to facilitate payments online, besides the anti-money laundering, obviously you have matters to do with actual security, so anti-terrorism and that kind of thing. So
that opens up a whole wide.
Yes. So making sure that you are aware that whatever it is that you do will have an implication. And then, of course, finally is your intellectual property. As online businesses, you're only as good as your IP. And your IP is...
which always has to be protected.
Which always has to be protected. And I think we have a very nascent environment here in Kenya where we don't have, patents, global patenting capacity. It's very, very expensive to have a registered...
It's easy for people to take what you've thought up
exactly.
and run off with it.
Exactly.
Right?
So the protection of your IP is something that I know a lot of, because you, as a developer, that's what you're doing. If you code and you create something, your IP is very, very important. And so I think those are some of the main considerations, not just from a regulatory perspective, but also as you develop. So even what we're discussing now, if I was to create something that would become a tool for trainers to, benefit from, is there a possibility of patenting that and making that a business that would then be able to be...
So from a regulatory or compliance issue, you would maybe lobby the government to strengthen their patent laws or something? But I don't know if that's really a technical issue,
Sure.
I suppose.
I think it's just as someone in the tech startup, these are some of the things to be aware of, that your IP, because when you are, let's say you're raising money,
I see what you're saying.
Or you are, you're trying to get new investment, the one thing that the investor will ask is, what's your brand strength? How is your IP registered? Is there someone else doing what you're doing? And if it's not, then you're not really offering anything special. So these are just some of the considerations that
Absolutely.
that I would have.
And I was talking to Khadija earlier, but prior to the interview here, and we were mentioning what the licensing costs and a few other areas.
That goes along the way. For example, if you're having multiple businesses in different countries, how safe is your data?
That are your clients?
Yeah, how safe is your data to maybe move to Tanzania, because they have different regulations and law. So it may be okay here because that's what is the standard regulation. But when it goes over to Tanzania or Uganda, they have a whole different set of laws, and that can put you in problem. And how safe is the data when it goes outside the border?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that segues nicely into our next topic, which you already touched on previously, which is cybersecurity and data protection. How do you guys currently handle these aspects in your business? What do you currently do, Khadija, to safeguard your data?
Number one would be data encryption. You need trustworthy guys that handle your stuff, because this data in the wrong hands can be a security risk. So it's really important to protect the data. Of course, there are tools to do that.
What other ways might we be able to protect our data within our companies?
Yeah, so I mean, you can do and we did it once. We should probably do it like every year, but you do like a quick risk analysis of your network, of your system, of your end to end. So both the physical network, your servers, your where the information is being hosted, if it's a cloud, if it's here. Obviously, if we were really sophisticated and we were able to do some of these things and eventually develop, let's say, a mobile application for IPEA, that gets us into AWS credits. Now, the good thing so that's Amazon Web Services. I'm using that as an example. They're globally renowned for being able to provide end-to-end solutions where if you sign up with them, not only do you get cloud storage and developer capabilities, but you also get cybersecurity and firewalls and those kind of things to protect whatever it is that you're hosting with them.
But I guess the limitation here is it's not very many businesses can afford to do that.
Yeah, so the thing is with AWS, with Google, with some of these global guys, it's quite expensive. We have a few local companies as well that provide cybersecurity, not just analysis, because to provide cybersecurity, you have to first check and see where are your risks, what are the threats that are being posed to your business, and then what are the gaps and how can we seal those gaps, and then how much does it cost?
Right.
And for some people, they kind of take that as they take it for granted and they do it like after the fact. And so as long as my thing is running, I don't necessarily need a secure website. If someone gets hacked or phished or, that's too bad for them.
That's not what I want to hear.
But obviously, and again, like you said, it goes down to the reputation that now your business will obviously have. If you're running a secure system, then it gives confidence to your clients that they can safely interact with your content online.
And I suppose you do some employee training or of some sort, or?
Yeah, there's need to be employment training on your systems to identify these risks. Like if somebody is trying to phish, and there should also be like when these things happens, how do you deal with them?
So how do you
report the incident?
So some kind of incident reporting, so the employees aren't just passively sitting there. One, they can't recognize what's going on, and two, they don't say anything. So
although, like you're saying, Jay, post the event happening, that's you're kind of like fixing the thing once it's happened.
Right.
I think when you mention employee training, you're talking about basic things. Don't just click on tabs, stuff like that. If you're going online, first of all, check for certain things. Check the URL that you're clicking on. So I think those kind of, depending on who your administrator is. So if you've got an office manager or a receptionist or someone who will be involved in the day-to-day assessment or use of your online, and yourself included, if you're the founder or you're the director, anybody who's going to be involved with opening and sending emails. I think there's an element of basic training on cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
Really basic. Like don't just click a link that doesn't feel right. And how does it feel right? And it gives you the context.
Right.
So a couple of those would be great value added services if anybody was offering cybersecurity.
Sure, and maybe like some of the classes that you already offer, it could be offered a simple online class that we offer to all the businesses here.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
And I think that's easily done.
Yeah.
And you mentioned AWS and Google. I think maybe Tech Foundry will be able to help some of these small businesses kind of ratchet up your security through technical means. Yeah. I guess you mentioned Fintech and movement of money. Have you contemplated like incorporating e-commerce or any of these things into
Absolutely, because it just adds to the convenience. When a client doesn't have to call up and say, okay, what's your bank account? Can I send you the money? What can I write you a check?
Right.
It just makes life easier if someone can quickly pop, and you've got the money. And we've got a robust fintech environment here in Nairobi, Kenya. I think M-Pesa is one of those global, like Venmo. It's kind of just taken over and changed the way people do business. We don't carry cash anymore. Everything is just done on this mobile money transfer.
Yeah, I noticed many Kenyans don't have a credit card, but everybody's got a phone.
Everybody's got a phone, so you can the minute I have a phone number, you can send me the money directly to my phone number. You can send money to my till if I have a business. You can send it to my pay bill, which then connects to my bank account. So there are so many ways where the environment is interactive.
Weren't you telling me that
there's also like PesaLink that are linked with the banks, which is easier for a common like Kenyan. While Remit nowadays they are connected to banks and M-Pesa, so if somebody sends me money from say the States or they bought something, I'm able to receive money on M-Pesa. So that really makes it easy for the locals and the internationals.
Yeah, but convenience comes at a cost, and like we said, you don't want to fall foul of AML rules. You don't want to fall foul of
Absolutely.
Any regulations that are out there. If you're taking deposits, you want to make sure that you're legally sound.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you've kind of incorporated e-commerce into it because, at least here, M-Pesa is so widely used that anybody can use that within their businesses. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, but it's also open to a lot of fraud because people now, they use SIM cards. So someone will collude with, let's say, one of the telcos to duplicate SIM cards, so you have multiple
Oh,
numbers.
wow.
Yeah.
You have multiple numbers that can send and receive money, and you're not quite sure if it's actually going to the right place.
So there's maybe opportunity for other e-commerce methods to be used outside of M-Pesa, maybe?
Absolutely, and the more options you can provide your clients, if you can provide, you can pay via credit card, you can pay via this, you can pay via this, it just adds to your credibility and makes you that much more.
Like PayPal or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that work here?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
Lots of
does.
people use PayPal.
Even here with Airbnb, a lot of Kenya receive payments with PayPal. It's a more secure
really?
way. Yeah.
So now we're getting paid, we've figured all that out. So, to both of you, looking ahead now, the next 2 or 3 years, and we kind of touched on this at the beginning, so I'm going back to it now here towards the end. What do you see would be your kind of ideal tech setup in terms of internet footprint for sales or website, social media, web apps? What would it look like for you in the next next couple of years?
Okay, for me, if I had an interactive website, a secure interactive website that would function like a booking site. So if I can schedule, I have my calendar and I have my CRM built into the back end. That would be absolutely perfect. And then obviously if there's an opportunity in there to have some of my training content licensed so that someone can pay a subscription fee or a license or purchase a training, that would be absolutely great. And then obviously from a marketing perspective, if I can have a lot of content on social media that would then drive people back to the website so that we can get the interactive bookings going there, that for me would be solid.
Absolutely. That sounds impressive, and I wish you the best of luck with that, and hopefully we can be a part of that solution.
I'm telling you, so that you can help me figure that stuff out.
No, absolutely. Khadija, I ask you the same thing. Where do you see yourself in 2 or 3 years? Tech-wise, where would you like to be?
First of all, I'd like to build a very good customer experience with my clients so that they always want to come back to me and not go to the competitor, and make sure that they get the best service from my platform, and make sure I give them the best tools to help them reach their potential clients. Yeah. And hopefully reach out to very many networks outside Kenya.
That sounds excellent. Both of you have been really impressive, and I wish you both the best of luck. And like I said, hopefully, Balboa Tech Foundry can be a part of your solution as well. And we're happy to have had this opportunity to talk to you today. And it's been a great conversation, and it's really, sadly brings us to the end of our show. And I thank the audience once again for tuning in, and please join us next time for Foundry Tech Talk from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And big thank you to our guests, Mwenezi and Khadija, for your time, for your willingness to share your invaluable insights. And we really appreciate your participation and look forward to our continued collaboration.
Thank you, Jay. This was a great conversation.
All right. Thanks a lot.